Hey guys, so a new video today. Basically what it is I'm going to take a quick break here just from my movies because I got a lot of movies to review, a lot of time. Some of them take longer than others, like I did the Alien quadrilogy I filmed a while back, but it's taking a hard time. Sometimes I hit hiccups where my internet won't connect, and if it stops connecting for a moment, suddenly that 40-50 minute time frame of what we're downloading, I have to do it over again. So I've had to do it twice now. So I'm trying my third time here. Anyway, so what I did here is there's a great channel called Geekvolution, basically run by a gentleman named Captain Logan. He does some great videos. They do some blogs. They did top list of. He does comic book movie reviews, Star Trek stuff, everything geek related. He has a guy who also does horror movies, anything you can think of, basically. And it got me to thinking that I should start making up some new top lists. So basically, I'm going to start off here with my top 10 comic book movies. Fantastic films. There's a lot of them I had to cut and relate. I'll give you a couple honorable mentions at the very end. So basically, here comes my list. This is in no particular order. I'm just reading them off as I could think of them. I probably should have named them off. Actually, no, I did number the top 10. My other list, I kind of just to do it random. So here we go. See how many of these you agree with or not. Number 10, Unbreakable. Unbreakable is a great movie. M. Night Shyamalan's one of his few truly holding up kind of movies. It holds up in my opinion. It's not really technically a comic book movie, but in a sense it is a comic book movie. It's almost like the origin story of a superhero. And if you watch it as a comic book movie, it plays that way. Some of the shots and the things that were done in the movie, just fantastically done. A lot of people didn't like it. Some people love it. So it's a hit and miss. Number 9, I have Constantine. Constantine was a great film. I don't know how close it was to the source material. I do love the movie itself, though. I think Peter Stormare's performance of the devil was fantastic. Keanu Reeves is great. Rachel Weisz is always a good-looking woman and a great actress. So just a very well-rounded film. A lot of great visuals. Just a fantastic film. Number 8, Iron Man. The original Iron Man I put down, I basically said, well, I think that one holds up. Number 2 was fantastic and was a great film. Easily would make my top 20, easily enough. But I had to kind of narrow it down and nitpick a little bit here. And I think Iron Man presents an origin story while at the same time making you truly appreciate the character without... I didn't know anything much about Iron Man other than I've seen a couple episodes of the cartoon and knew the basic principles. And going to that movie, it explained everything you needed to do, and it did it very well, very entertainingly. No lag or slowdown points, so just a fantastic film, okay? So number 7, I have 300. Frank Miller's epic movie about the Spartans fighting. Fantastic film. Gerard Butler's and one of my favorite actors. Also played the Phantom of the Opera. If you have not seen it, go see that movie. You may or may not like it. It's a musical, obviously, but fantastic film. The visuals were amazing. Zack Snyder is the man. He has another movie on this list, if you haven't already figured that out by now. I'm very much looking forward to Sucker Punch, which comes out next year. Looks amazing visually. The man just knows how to do good visuals. So here we go. Number 6 is V for Vendetta. Remember, the 5th of November. One of my favorites also. Didn't know the source material. I'd seen the Guy Fawkes mask. I very much made me appreciate it, and I do want to go and kind of dig out the graphic novels it's based on and get those and add them to my book collection, because I just love the characters, and I love the whole standing up for what you believe. If government isn't working for you, you change government. That's what democracy is all about. And that fact that he basically instigated that whole change. See here, number 5, Watchmen. Like I said, Zack Snyder appears twice on this list. He does great comic book adaptations. Watchmen, while not being a perfect adaptation, obviously, missed a few key elements, changed a few small details as well as big details, but did a fantastic job. The visuals were, I think it's about as close as you can get to a straight translation of the comic book. And I think it's just visually one of the most epic films, comic book-wise, you're ever going to see. Number 4 is Spider-Man 2. Now, a lot of people will complain saying Spider-Man 2 wasn't as good as Spider-Man 1 or such and such. All I can say is, in my opinion, Spider-Man 2 is heads and above better than Spider-Man 3, beyond comparison. Spider-Man 3 was one of the worst superhero movies of all time, right with X-Men 3. Just two Marvel franchises they murdered in the third act. And Spider-Man 1 was a great film, great origin movie, but Spider-Man 2 captured the true essence of Spider-Man. It nailed it on the head. I mean, with it finishing up with him and Mary Jane being together, and her saying, "Go get him, Tiger," and that fight with Doc Ock on the train, as well as many other sequences, it just blew the comic book. It made a comic book movie true to the comic, but also dramatically pleasing to people who weren't comic book fans. And I think it was one of the first to do that, and I think that's why it deserves the distinction. The first one was popular, the second one blew it out of the water, and just look at the numbers if you don't believe me. Alright, so we got number 3, X-Men 2. Also a great second act, fantastic film. Being number 3 on the list, obviously not the best superhero movie out there, but just a fantastic film. It did a lot of things right. I didn't care. There were some slow parts with Stryker and the whole thing, but it did a good job of building up on the characters that you had already established in the first one. Fantastic film. A lot more action because you didn't have to build as many characters up. Alright, so number 2 on my list is actually going to be Superman 2. Now, I have not seen the Richard Donner one. I do like the Superman storyline. I love the original movie. It was a lot of fun. I have a few complaints about certain things. Obviously, number 2 had some issues when they changed directors. Richard Donner is the man. He did the first one. The second one would have been better if he had directed it. I wish I could have seen the full version of the Richard Donner one, but alas, it doesn't happen. Not gonna happen. So, if anyone can guess my number 1 movie, I think it's pretty obvious at this point. Number 1 comic book movie of all time, The Dark Knight. This movie holds its own for many reasons. Now, a lot of people complain that Christian Bale was just pathetically over the top, and you know what? I laugh. People go, well, his voice is ridiculous. I'm like, his voice is supposed to be dark and menacing. It may not seem that way to you, but at the same time, would you have them walk around the British accent? I'm Batman. I'm gonna kick your butt. It just doesn't work. You know, you gotta go with something that works with the persona. And the only thing is the dark, gruff voice. And you couldn't do the Bruce Wayne voice because then people will go, "Hey, you're Bruce Wayne." So, you know, you gotta change the voice a little bit. I don't know how else he could have done it except changing it the way he did. Anyway, along with the great cast and the perfection of the storytelling in this film, Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is, in my opinion, the closest to comic book Joker I've ever seen presented. Jack Nicholson's was great. Cesar Romero's had some moments, but when it comes down to it, Heath Ledger's chaotic, destroy-all Joker that has no conscience and can keep going and going forever. That was the epitome. And the movie got summed up in one line, with him hanging upside down saying, "You and I are going to be doing this forever, I think." So, I mean, it worked perfectly. I mean, I wish Heath could have survived. I would have killed for one more Batman versus Joker movie. I really would have. And as much as I'd like to see the Joker come back, I think you give Joker a rest until the third one. I'm hoping they do the Riddler. Honestly, my favorite choice right now for the Riddler would be someone like Paul Bettany, someone maybe like Jude Law. He would give the Riddler a true sense of menace, but keeping that true gentlemanly scariness. So, I hope that's where they go. We'll see. Nolan is a genius, and he'll do it justice, I'm sure. So anyway, until next time, guys. Keep watching, keep collecting.